Hi guys, you're interested in getting a free bat cover with your next bat purchase? Stay tuned. Hi guys, it's Clinton here from Bat and Ball Cricket. Thanks for checking in for episode number 12 of this series leading up to the 2018-19 Australian summer. Today's another gear review video, guys, and this one is a tad late. This is the review of my match bat, which I've been using now for the last 2 seasons. So entering its 3rd season, we're looking at my B3 Bespoke cricket bat. Righty guys, let's get into this one. So essentially you can buy bats in 3 different ways from B3. The first way is their series range. So it's the same as walking into any cricket retailer around the world, picking up a bat that you like and purchasing that one. So the next way is their custom range, and this allows you to select or customize a number of the features about the bat that allows it to meet your particular playing style. The third and final way is buying a bat that is a bespoke bat, and that is they sit down and completely design the bat using computer-aided design. If you can't go into their Nottingham factory, then they can actually sit down and do a Skype call and via email backwards and forwards as to how to design your particular bat. And that's exactly what this one is, and it's a bespoke. And the way that you can tell is there's a sticker here. So B3 actually use a machine process to carve out the shape of their bats. What that allows them to do is to get the bats exactly accurate, and it also allows them to repeat a bat. So if you happen to have an absolute gun of a bat that you really want to reproduce, they can do that quite easily. They go right down to measuring the density of the timber. They know what weight goes into that particular handle of that bat and can reproduce that for you. So let's get into the details of this particular bat. It's actually the shape from one of their sponsored pros, Stephen Mullany, and he's a Nottingham player. This was his shape for the 2016 county season. Now what I do happen to have is one of the new bat gauges that it does conform to, it conforms to MCC Law 5. So I believe the measurements are 42mm edges and a 67mm spine. I could be wrong on those details, and so please feel free to correct me, as the gauge doesn't actually show exactly what those pieces are. But what we can see is that the bat does actually pass nicely through the whole gauge. So even though this was a bat purchased before the regulations were introduced, it still does fit through. The actual profile of the bat, which you probably saw there very quickly, is a very full profile. Now, that particular shape is often referred to as a player's profile. However, I think it should be an amateur's profile. The reason for that is that as amateur cricketers, we don't hit the ball in the middle particularly often, but we also don't hit the ball on the edges as often as what we think. So actually having a fair amount of timber off of centre, so either side of the middle spot of the bat, is actually the place that we want the most amount of timber. Yet what we quite often see with bats is they have a high spine, very high edges, but a lot of concaving in between. So realistically what we want to see is the most amount of timber there off of centre, or as much timber off of centre there as you possibly can. And even a convex design is something that is a really good bat design for amateur cricketers. So I think that's one of the things that I think a lot of players and a lot of bat makers get wrong, is taking that scalloping out. So that's why most of my bats now have very full profiles. The next piece to talk about is the actual middle or sweet spot of the bat. Now it probably peaks around about here, so we're talking about a middle spot roughly about here. So that would make it a mid to potentially, I'd even say, slightly on the high side. So fits Australian conditions very, very well. When I do come in from an innings, generally we don't see anything or any marks kind of from the bottom 2 inches of the bat. I just don't use that part of the bat. So having as much timber as we can, kind of from the end of the B3 stickers to the start of the B3 stickers, that's where I hit the ball predominantly, and very much around this middle section of the middle to high section of the bat. All right, guys, so let's come through and actually have a look at the face of the bat. Now, what it does have is 12 very nice and straight grains. The thing that I didn't mention at the beginning is regarding to how B3 go and grade their timber. Now you can pick that one up based on this sticker here. And basically the more stripes, the better the bat. They actually have 5 different grades of timber. So stripes 1 to 3 signify grade 3 to 1 English willow. They then have a 3-stripe limited edition, and that's often their grade 1 plus. And then they also have a performance grade willow, and B3 refer that as crown willow. And that's what this 3 stripes with a crown here is. Now what that means, this is often the top 1%, often referred to as player grade timber, and it comes with a performance guarantee. Now all of the bats across the board from B3 come with a performance guarantee, which you won't find on any other one of the brands. If you're not exactly happy with the ping at the level of timber that you've ordered, they will sort you out. They'll go with a new bat, they'll change that bat, and you won't find that anywhere else on the market. 12 nice evenly spaced grains, and nice and straight, and a couple of those characteristic marks, which I actually quite like, having those couple of characteristic marks in the blade of the bat. Now guys, we will see that I do have some edge cracking in on the inside edge and a little bit on the outside edge, and we can start to actually see the face of the bat is starting to open up, and I am getting a couple of sideways little cracks on the bat as well. That is all part of the natural development process of a cricket bat. It's really important to prepare your bat well, and that's one thing that I absolutely continued to do after I purchased this from a mate, was to continue to knock that in. A good amount of time along the edges and along the toe of the bat, and then of course don't forget about the middle of the bat, and it means you can get a good number of seasons out of a bat. But that natural type of cracking that you will see only comes with an age of the bat, and especially in the case that I like my bats with a natural face, I feel you get a better response through the handle if you don't have those plastic types of facing on the bat. Right guys, edge size. We did see that it did go through the bat gauge, but just to give you an idea of the bat size, they're around about that particular point, it is about 37 mil, guys. So there's about 5 mil in space there for the gap, and about 2 mil at the top, so that's either about 60, 65 or 63 mil. So it's used pretty much all of what the new regulations was going to be. It was almost as if this bat knew what the new regulation was going to be. Right guys, the next piece to talk about is the handle. Now, those of you that have followed my channel for a while will know that I do double grip my bats. However, this guy is single gripped, and the reason for that is it has a very thick oval handle. So this is one of the great pieces in regards to the finishing from the guys at B3, is they allow you to select how your bat is finished. So you will notice that this particular bat has white stickers on it. There are about 15 different colours. So there's a silver and white, there's a white, there's black, there's clear, there's red, 3 different blues, 3 different greens, a yellow or copper, and then a couple of different flags. So all of these pieces are all selectable on every single one of the bats that you choose. So if you happen to be using a different coloured softs that you really want your stickers to match to, you can do that. That goes the same with the grips. So this one I have an English chevron grip in white, same amount number of colours of grips, and you can also have a scale or an octopus, you name it, they pretty much can cater for it. Now, just rolling this handle down again very, very quickly, see if I can give you a good look at it. There is a number there on the handle of the bat, 4,857. So what that means is this was the 4,857th bat that was produced by the guys at B3. What you can do is actually quote that number to the guys at B3, and using their machining technology, they can produce a bat to the exact specs that this bat was when it came out of their factory. That goes right down to the type of handle. So this is a very thick oval handle, which is great for me. I do have quite big hands. Most guys that pick up my bat say, wow, that handle's too thick. What I really like about that is it allows the bat to have a very good light pickup. So this guy finishes at 210 on the nose at the moment. After my winter refurbishment myself, it has come back in the weight a little bit by about half an ounce. So 210 on the nose with a very good light pickup because of a decent amount of weight being actually in the handle, which then getting to the specs of 37 or 38mm edges makes it even more impressive to pack that in with that very full profile. There's a couple of the other pieces with the guys at B3 allow you to choose in the finishing of your bat. Toe guard, on or off, so I have needed to redo the toe guard on this guy, so this is my toe guard that I've applied. Video on that guy from this series to check out. They also allow you to decide whether you want your bat knocked in or not knocked in, whether you want it as a natural face with a clear sheet face or a fibre facing on, and then they even allow you to choose if you would like to a second grip to double drip your bat or the type of handle. So you can have a round handle, a semi-oval handle, an oval handle, and then allow you to choose the thickness of the handle as well. So all of those pieces are all selectable through buying your bat with the guys at B3. You won't find that from any of the other brands around the world for all of their bats. This starts right at the series range. You can select all of those pieces across every single one of the ranges of their bats. Last thing to go through here, guys, is a bit of a ping test. I happen to have the mallet here, so I'm going to give it a bit of a tap up, starting around the toe and up to the stickers where normally we stop hitting cricket balls. So starting at the toe. So that's at the middle part of the bat. It sounds really lovely right there. And the sound doesn't change a lot. At the end there, I'm hitting the ball right up here just underneath the Bespoke teeth sticker. So the sound of the bat virtually doesn't change from about this point here, around about where the sweet spot starts, all the way up to the stickers. Guys, for me, this is the benchmark for bats for me moving forward. This is the best bat I've had, and having said that, it's got the best timber in it and has got the same, and it's got an individual care and attention provided to this bat. It really is the benchmark for a number of reasons, and of course, being that really high grade timber absolutely helps. Right guys, so that pretty much concludes my review of my B3 Bespoke cricket bat. The one thing to talk about here, guys, because usually I give all of the gear reviews a rating out of 10. I think that is really unfair for cricket bats, because if this bat happened to be a very low middle bat, I would pick it up and it would not meet my requirements and I would not like it. It could have had the best timber in the world, been made to the exact specifications and be presented and finished exceptionally well. If it doesn't meet my play style, I'm not going to give it a high rating. So same applies for this guy, guys. I'm not going to give it a rating out of 10. Because the last thing to talk about is price. Now, if you were to purchase a top of the range bat in one of the local retail stores here in Australia this year, at the absolute top end of bats, you're talking somewhere around the $1,100 to $1,300 range. That's still a shape that is a standard shape off the shelf, not selected or customized or designed from scratch by you for you. So keeping that in mind, you would think you'd pay a little bit extra for that particular service of customizing to your service. Now, the other thing to keep in mind is that these guys come from the United Kingdom, shipped to Australia, so then you've got an extra, you'd say $60 to $100 in postage on top of that. So this bat would come in between the $850 and $900 mark. So you're automatically saving somewhere around about $200 and in some cases $400 on a bat that is off the shelf without a pin guarantee and hasn't been designed specifically to your game style. So very, very good on the value for money front, guys. I will not be going to another bat maker for bats going forward, because the B3 have set the benchmark for me. Now guys, in the coming week, the guys at B3 have kindly provided me with a code that allows for any of bat and ball cricket viewers who watch the video, pick up the code, can actually go through and get a B3 bat. You can use the code and receive a free bat cover for your trouble. So you've just gone and spent a good amount of money on a bat. You can go through and get a good solid blade cover to actually protect your bat as well. Really good value from the guys at B3. So guys, that concludes my review video of my B3 Bespoke cricket bat. Hands down, the best bat that I have had throughout my cricketing career. Guys, we're well and truly now coming into the twilight of this particular series. The start of the Australian summer for the majority of the grades is only a handful of weeks away. One final piece from me, guys, if you haven't hit that subscribe button yet, what are you waiting for? Get in, hit that subscribe button. Right, guys, this is Clinton from Bat and Ball Cricket. We'll catch you again really soon in the next episode. Bye for now.